Hello, and welcome to Verbling. For the next hour, I will be guiding us through another class in business English. My name is Teacher Oakley. Hello, hello. Today's focus will be on staff negotiations, negotiating with the staff. The class, as usual in this series, will involve a lot of discussion and sharing opinions and sharing descriptions of best practices and our experiences. As well, today we're also going to look at a little bit of vocabulary, which is related to the topic, as well as since we're talking about negotiation and possibility, we're also going to look at the use of conditional sentences and a little bit at alternatives to conditional sentences. Okay, you're talking about staff negotiation. Obviously, negotiation involves a lot of, if this happens, then we'll do this. Well, if you do that, then we would do this. Negotiation involves a lot of conditionals. So we'll look at that as well a little bit today. Okay, hello, Heidi. Welcome to the class. Welcome back.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Hello, hello. Okay. We're going to talk about staff negotiations and how businesses handle staff negotiating with the staff. So, Heidi, I know you've been a shop owner. Did you ever have any staff to worry about, or was it more of a small? I know you had a retail type shop. Did you ever have staff?
Yes, I had a staff, but only part-time job.
Okay, part-time staff. All right. So then you must have experienced some kind of negotiations, hiring, firing, negotiating a wage increase or time off. Any of those, something.
About wage, I don't never had any negotiation with my staff.
Okay, but even hiring somebody is actually a staff negotiation.
But
so.
at first, I needed to negotiate the banker.
Yeah, well, okay, that's another negotiation.
My shop. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to try to keep our focus on negotiating with the staff today. Let me welcome another student to the class. Hello, Andre.
Hi, teacher Oakley.
Hi, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Wow, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
All right, welcome back. Okay. All right, plenty of room in the class. If other students would like to join us, please feel free, jump in anytime. Okay. We're going to start out talking about, well, I'm going to do a screen share and have that help me explain it. Okay, so give me a second. Here we go. Let's talk about this. When a company is considering reorganizing its operations, well, now, wait a minute, before we even start. What does that mean, a company is reorganizing its operations? What does that mean to you guys? Heidi, can you think of an example? Think about a large company, okay?
For example, they need to change a line, operation line.
Okay.
A newer machine or a more productive machine.
Okay, right. Actually changing physical operations. Okay, well, yeah, absolutely. Andre, can you think of another example of how a company might be reorganizing its operations?
I guess it could be anything like from changing the way they sell to the clients,
Okay.
ending from some internal changes in, for example, the the way they pay the employees, for
Oh,
example.
okay. Specific example. That's great. All right. Okay. So physical operations, marketing, internal operations, including changes in management, and of course, when companies merge, join with other companies, there's a lot of reorganizing that has to be done. That's maybe a big one right there. Okay. Very good. All right. Just wanted to make sure we understand what that means before we continue. Okay. Okay. When a company is considering reorganizing its operations, which of these considerations should be foremost in its thinking? Okay. What's most important? What's most important? What's least important? Let's talk about these different aspects and what you guys think. What do they have to worry about? For example, if they're a merger or they're changing, maybe they're changing location. That's another huge change in operations, location movements. Okay, what do they need to worry about most? Their shareholders, their employees, their customers who buy their product or service, their competition, or public opinion at large. Heidi, what do you think? What do you, in your opinion, might be the most important thing?
Most important thing with the customer's interest.
Yeah.
At
Okay.
first, they have very good sales, but gradually other companies produce the similar things. Then customers getting annoyed about the product. They need to review the product.
Okay. So without well, yeah, I agree. Without customers, then they don't have shareholders or employees or competition or public opinion.
At least the product needs to be attractive to the customer.
Yeah, without that, you pretty much have nothing else on the list. Okay. All right. I guess I agree. For the most part, Andre, anything else to add to that, or?
I know that the customer is always right, but I heard somewhere that the most important interests that should be met is the shareholders' interest, and I read somewhere, I don't know why, because I know company first of all is financed, or how do you call it?
That's right.
By shareholders. And,
that is true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that is true. And frankly, I read books about economics, and I'm interested in the topic, so I read a lot of articles and white papers and such. And I think that's a very interesting point, Andre. I think over time, there's no absolute answer here, really. And there's degrees. Well, we've got to worry about all of these things, really. But, the degree to which one is more important than another, I think there's been a shift in thinking in business over the last, I don't know, since 1980 or so. And I think that businesses have a much higher, much larger degree of responsibility towards their shareholders than anybody else, including their customers, than they used to have before. Seems to be. I mean, that's my opinion. It's all other economists' opinions as well. But would you agree with that, or just the fact that there's been a shift, a change in ideas?
I think they try to balance between shareholders and customers, because as you already said, and Heidi said, that without customers they're no business. So there should be some balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but more and more, the shareholders are more important. The employees seem to be less and less and less important as time goes on. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me talk to Javier. Very happy to see you in the class, Javier. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
All right. All right. You always have something interesting to say. So let me pose this question to you. Okay, a company is considering reorganizing, whether that means moving operations, changing management, changing marketing strategy, whatever. Which of these considerations should be foremost in its thinking, or to what degree, looking at these different areas of responsibility for a company, the shareholders, the employees, the customers, the competition, or public opinion at large? What is your view, Javier?
I think maybe what is shareholders' interest?
Okay, like shareholders, shares are another word for stocks. So when I buy stock in Apple Company, I own part of Apple Company.
Then I think customers' interest.
Yeah. Okay. We seem to be split between customers and shareholders, which I think is the reality of our world today. I think that's absolutely true. Okay. Okay. Let me pose another question here. This one here. Okay, Heidi, how should companies consult staff? For example, if they're relocating, they're moving their offices to another part of the country or maybe another country entirely. How should they consult the staff? What? For anything, like their way they communicate to their staff?
Maybe they need to dismiss a lot of the staff.
Yep. Okay.
And moving to other countries. Some staff is a very necessity for the company. Maybe they should negotiate only the capable staff, but others are like machine only producing the things, not so important.
All right. You know, okay, we have a kind of idiomatic phrase for that. When a company, maybe because they're relocating, maybe because they just want to rejuvenate, refresh, renew the company, when a company has or does a house cleaning, okay, that's what you're talking about. Firing the easily replaceable or just plain bad employees, and maybe even giving a raise to the valuable employees. We actually have a phrase for that. That's like house cleaning. Another useful phrase, when you're firing a bunch of useless people in a company. All right, I'm just being blunt, okay? We have an idiom for that as well. Getting rid of the dead wood, we call that. Okay, so if you're getting rid of the dead wood, you're getting rid of the employees who are not really contributing to the company.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, any thoughts on this, Andre? How a company should consult with the staff?
I don't know if there is a term like key staff or key employers in English.
There certainly is. Yes.
Employers that are very valuable for the company. So I think there should be some consulting with them, and but the final decision, of course, is on the top, on the management of the company. So
yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, be careful you say employees instead of employers.
Yeah, employees. Yeah.
Right. But other than that, yes, there definitely is a co-location key personnel key with a lot of things. Key personnel, key management, key employees. Yeah, the word key co-locates very commonly and usefully, exactly as you described, with many of those words. Absolutely. And it's very common co-location. Javier, any last thoughts about how a company needs to communicate with its staff when it's undergoing major changes?
I don't know. I think that in this case depends on maybe on the size of the company. If it's really big and if they are like moving some branch or they are moving some office, I don't think they care at all what the employee will think.
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes they don't. You're right. They'll close down a factory. A company that has 6 factories, okay, it's not working for us to have a factory in city A. We're just closing down. Goodbye, employees. Okay, now let's have some fun here. Okay, if you're working, then you can talk about which ones that you've heard before, if they apply to you. We're going to look at complaints. Actually, we're going to look at complaints and demands from employees. Typical complaints and demands. So basically think about your experience. If you're a student and you haven't had these experiences, then you can talk about what you think are reasonable or unreasonable demands and complaints. Or even if you have work experience, you can talk about that. What do you think about these complaints? In other words, let's talk about these. Okay, Heidi, complaint number 1. Not number 1. I don't know what's number 1. It's just the first on the list. But.
I want to be sure I won't be relocated. But the company is moving. So if you complain about that, you can stay here alone.
Yeah. Okay, so you think this is an unreasonable complaint?
Yeah. Maybe company need to look for some job on something.
Yeah. Okay. Interestingly, I used to do recruiting, so I have heard this complaint when negotiating with new staff. Working in a company that had many different areas, many different branches, and I've heard this before. People said, "Oh, I am taking care of my sick grandmother." Something like that was very common. So I have to make sure I won't be relocated.
Yeah, before Japanese companies moved to China, then the people didn't want to go there because of contamination. They didn't want to live in that place.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I never saw this as being completely unreasonable. It depends. If I was recruiting to try to recruit for another area, then of course then forget it. You're not getting a job. But if I'm recruiting for the area I'm looking at, well, okay. All right. I think we even had a little box on our recruitment materials saying does not want to relocate. I believe it was part of on the application, actually, if I remember. In fact, willing to relocate is often part of your application process. In many applications, I've definitely seen that before, both here in the Philippines, in America, Canada, different places I've worked. Okay, Andre, complaint number 2.
I think this complaint shows that the employee is not responsible enough for his job, because
Right.
it depends on only on him to be trusted or not.
Yeah, this is kind of I agree with you. This is sort of a backwards complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying I'm not trustworthy enough.
he's moving responsibility to other people and to his working environment. So
Yeah.
I think they should fire him right now.
You're merciless. Okay. I agree. This is kind of a pointless complaint, and it reflects That's how you could say this in English, Andre, by the way. This complaint reflects back on the complainer. It reflects back on them. It's like a mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you completely. That's a complaint that just reflects back on the complainer. It's kind of pointless. Javier, how about C?
I feel I'm not being treated fairly. I think it's that could be a reason. I mean, it could be true.
I think you said that totally correctly in English. It could be true. Could, when we use the modal could, that means it's one of many possibilities. And when you use could or can to show probability, you're not really saying 70%, 20%. What you're saying is it is one of many possibilities, or, you know, can't. It is not a possibility. That's all you're saying. So I think your choice of English to answer that question was particularly apt and very good. It could be, or it could not be. It depends on the situation. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good choice of words there. It might be, or it might not be. It could be, or depends on. That's a very broad statement, so we would need specifics, right? Okay. Complaint D, Heidi. What do you think? Aha.
I'm being paid a competitive salary. Yeah, if you worked hard, and if you showed some competitive result, the boss might have promoted you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have read quite a few studies that said the people that ask for more money more often make more money more often. It's a direct correlation. Those who ask get paid more. So, okay. Yeah, it definitely could be a valid complaint, certainly, in many cases. All right, Andre, how about E?
This one could be reasonable enough, and this is the responsibility of HR department, as I understand. There should be career management like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
okay. Good.
HR manager should explain to the employee that what steps should he take, for example, to get to the career ladder.
Career level.
Ladder, I guess. There should
ladder. Oh, ladder.
Ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, how can he climb the career ladder? That's right. Okay, I was going to ask you to explain transparent career structure, but you just did. Basically, what is the clear path to get promoted and to continue with your career with that company? Yeah, some people who feel that they're stuck on the career path or the career ladder, that's a correct idiomatic expression, by the way, Andre. If you're stuck and you feel there's no path at all, you would never change your job. Do you know what that's called, Andre?
No, actually, maybe I know, but nothing comes to my mind right now.
Well, you might say that you have a dead-end job, or you could even co-locate it with path, a dead-end career path.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, okay. There's nowhere to go. And people often quit when they feel there's nowhere to go. They get frustrated. So I think that's somewhat of a reasonable, it's a reasonable request, but frankly, in my experience, they'll tell you something, but that's not necessarily what's going to happen. They'll say, oh, you just need to do this and this and this, and then this will happen, and then that will happen, and then something completely different happens. Whatever. A new division opens, the company changes direction, they relocate you, and you're on a completely different path.
Can we describe it as a rat race job or something like that?
Well, a rat race, the rat race, the concept the rat race refers to the concept that, okay, it's an overall concept. You work, you make money, okay, you buy a house, you have expenses, you make more money, but then inflation kicks in, so you have more expenses, and then you make more money, and then you have more expenses, and basically you never really get ahead. The concept is like, you know, the hamsters or the mouse or rat, you put them in a cage and you have that little wheel so they can exercise. You know what I mean? That little exercise wheel, and the little mouse gets in there and they run, and they never go anywhere.
But in this case, for example, in case of dead-end job, you do your job, but you can see anything. You don't achieve anything. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, in a way, you could refer to it as a rat race job, more or less. Yeah, it would be understandable. It's not a very common use, this co-location rat race job, okay? But it is understandable. You're basically kind of putting two ideas together.
Okay.
Okay. Javier, complaint F. Oh, I like this one.
I will not know what to do in an emergency. Yeah, I think it could be the someone doesn't know what to do. It sounds also kind of paranoid, but I think.
Yeah, not necessarily. Javier, I used to work in a company which shall remain nameless, and we worked on the 33rd floor of our building, and frequently we had two small elevators. We would have, I think, 350 people working on our floor in our building, and the elevator would hold about 15 people. And we had two of them. So that's 20 trips up and down. Okay, a slow elevator. And they would frequently lock with chains and giant padlocks. They would lock these stairwells because they didn't want employees running up and down the stairwell. Yeah, I found that to be kind of frightening. It made me paranoid. If there's a fire, I'm just dead. There's no way.
Yeah, in that case, you need to know.
Yeah. Or I'm going to have to take my ballpoint pen and start stabbing people in the ear in order so I get in the elevator first. Talk about rat race, Andre. Yeah, anyway. Sometimes it's not a bad idea. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable request. Heidi G.
I'd like a reduction in my workload. Yeah, it happened many times in Japan. For example, McDonald's or you know Gyudon restaurant chain.
Okay.
24/7 open. Only both of the restaurant or shop is a stable worker, other the part-time job. So making a schedule is very difficult. If sometimes lack of workers, the both need to work in the place. So sometimes they need to work over 12 hours or more. Some both get some depression and commit suicide.
Well, that's the extreme end, isn't it? Okay.
All
right. I see your point. At first I thought, okay, this is kind of a useless complaint, but after you explain it that way, I can understand where, under certain circumstances, this would be a very valid complaint. Okay. If you're being asked to work ridiculous hours, well, then I don't even think that would any longer be a complaint, but would be a demand. Look, I'm working 100 hours a week. Either you cut me down to 60 or I'm not coming to work tomorrow. Make up your mind. Yeah, okay. Under those kinds of extreme circumstances, that might be a good demand. Andre, how about H?
Well, it depends because if the employee is not working hard enough or doesn't have results, so why should he or she has a recognition? But sometimes I think there are situations when staff is working hard and is still sitting in some low salary or low positions, and there is no promotion at all. So there should be. It depends on the situation, I guess.
All right. Okay. I would like to ask your, since you bring. All right, that's a very good answer, but I would like your opinion on something related to your answer. Do you know what metrics are? Do you know what I mean when I say metrics? Work metrics. Workplace metrics.
It could. I think the easier enough. I mean, it is easier to apply metrics on, for example, someone who sells, for example, they have some results. How much?
Good example.
How much they sold, right?
Sold, past tense.
Yeah. So, and it could be difficult, for example, to apply metrics on some IT personnel. You know, it depends on a work position. So
you're absolutely correct. Okay, but taking your example of a salesperson and keeping metrics, how many sales per month or day or whatever, for example, as an example of one metric, there may be others. How many new customers as opposed to old customers, whatever. There's lots of different possible measurements. Okay, my question is, what is your opinion of a company that writes down all the employees on the board, very publicly displayed? Maybe there's 10 salesmen, so they have the 10 salesmen on the board, so you can see who's number 1 and who's number 10.
I think it's great because
at any time,
because they have motivation to get to the first positions in the list, for example, and they get more how do they go, hot clients, you know, customers. I mean, hot customers who likely to become clients in near future. So and because of that they will get more payment in the future. So
okay, well, I'm really kind of torn on it myself because I have seen it work before. I've seen this tool, this way of doing things used before. And what happens is the people on the top of the list get motivated and they get more sales, for example. Wasn't really sales, but okay. But the people on the bottom list get completely disenfranchised and demotivated and they drop. So overall, the goal is to have more sales in the whole team, in the whole company, whatever. Overall, what happens is nothing. The good people get better, the bad people get worse, and eventually they quit. So in reality, the company loses because then they have to hire new people and train them, and training takes money. It's a drag on profit.
Maybe it's reasonable because not every man, for example, or woman has an ability to sell good.
True.
Oh well.
True.
Yeah. So, and there is a law in life, like rich get richer and poor get poorer, right? So maybe it's not. It's not good.
I don't know. Like I said, I've never fully made up my mind on that one. My own opinion. I don't know what my own opinion is. So, okay, I'm not sure. There's pluses and minuses. All right, let's look at demands. Javier, Okay, notice demands are in the form of we, which really demands should be. If you're going to make demands, you can make demands personal demands, of course, but often people make demands in a company as a group. Okay, demand number one.
We should all receive higher salaries for what we do.
Shouldn't we?
Yeah, sounds nice, but I don't think they will listen just like that.
Sounds nice. Okay. First of all, somebody once told me, it's great advice. Don't demand don't even, never mind demands, but don't even complain unless you have a solution.
Yes.
Don't ever complain unless you have a solution. Otherwise, it just sounds like a whining. Okay, this sounds like, you know, my first question is, well, why? You know.
Yeah.
Okay, how should a company deal with such a demand?
Just reject.
What?
Just reject the request.
Just reject? Oh, just reject it. No, okay, maybe. Would it be unreasonable, or is it unreasonable? Serious question.
Yeah,
Is it
I think
unreasonable? Wait a minute. Is it unreasonable for the management to say, well, look, here's our books, here's our sales, here's our production costs, here's our labor costs. You tell me how we can give you a raise. Look, our profit margin is 1%. Our stockholders get no dividends. How can we give you a raise? Should the employees employer, the boss, justify or not? Or should they just say, no, you can't have a raise? Or does it depend?
Yeah, maybe should be like that, I think, but I don't think it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think any employee knows about the movement of the money of the employer. I think they don't have an idea.
Okay. Interesting. One of the most interesting business models I've ever seen is I worked in restaurants and hotels for a long time. I worked in a restaurant that worked as a cooperative. All right. So the employees were the stakeholders, were the shareholders. Interestingly, nobody ever quit, and nobody ever asked for more money. Because as the value of the company went up, that was money that a percentage was their money. So when the restaurant or hotel sold after 10 years for a profit of $1 million, $10 million, part of that million or 10 million was theirs. So they would never ask for more money. They would never ask for, they would never quit either, because then they'd lose their share. It's actually a very awesome way to keep your employees from asking for money. Okay, anyway, moving on. Heidi. Demand. Jay.
Yeah. We should be consulted more by our managers. Even though everybody in the company has the same right and the same, if they work in the same place, they have same right. But sometimes men are a little arrogant. They ask the cop to make copy to the female, or
Okay.
they don't pick up the telephone call. Always the female need to do that. So we needed to be consulted with the managers, the share work.
Well, that seems more like a different verb. That sounds to me like the females of the company were being exploited.
Mm-hmm.
Really, they're being used for things they're not even supposed to be used for, or they're being asked to do more than they're really being paid to do. That's called exploited.
And even the female or newcomers need to have a more responsible job.
Okay. Well, I think I'm not sure that's exactly what this is saying. I think maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. But we should be consulted more by our managers, like about policy changes. They should ask us if it's okay with us before they change things in the employee manual. The dress code. Let's take just one example. Oh, you're gonna change the dress code. You're gonna make Fridays casual Friday, but nobody asked the employees. Maybe the employees don't want casual Friday. Maybe they want casual every day. Maybe they don't want any casual days. That's the kind of thing that we're talking about. When managers never bother to consult with what the employees actually want. Or actually, business process. Listen to the employees for suggestions. How to make things run smoother and better and more efficiently and cost effective. So it could be about policies or about actually improving the company. I will tell you, I worked in a company that just refused to listen to its employees.
Well, many employees are working on some combination. They don't want to change. They want to change other employee.
Yeah.
I want to work with that person, not with him.
Okay, but okay. All right. Well, let's move on. I'll tell you, I've worked in a company that refused to consult its employees about anything, both policies, employee policies, just like handbook policies, and business procedure, marketing ideas, just ideas. They just refuse to hear them. It's very frustrating to work in a place like that. When you are allowed to give input into your company, it empowers the employees. The employees feel like they have a say, like they have a voice in the company, and more than likely they will continue to give ideas, brainstorm ways to make the company better. I'll tell you guys, the company I'm working for right now, Verbling.com, right here, right now. This is one of their their best qualities. They really do listen to the teachers and empower us to make suggestions, criticize the staff. We're fully free to criticize things we don't like. And they listen and they change things. I think it's a great thing. Myself, but okay, anyway, Andre. Complaint K.
I think it's the same as a complaint about they don't have enough recognitions for what they do.
Yeah.
We should get some. It is interesting because, as I already said, that it depends and what they do actually in their job. And if they really, for example, earn $1 million for companies and they get nothing for that, just, for example, $2,000 a month, it's really not fair. And in that case, for example, maybe they need more recognition for that.
Yeah.
But if the staff just sitting all day doing nothing, of course, it's just.
The funny thing is, this verb recognition or recognize, to be recognized in this way, meaning publicly acknowledged, this doesn't, everybody thinks it's a positive thing. It does, not necessarily. You can be recognized for being the worst criminal ever.
Negatively, right?
Yeah, that's right. So every time we talk about it, I think about that. Well, wait a minute. Really? You want to be recognized for being the worst employee of the month? Andre, in your company, do they have that concept, the Employee of the Month award?
No, I think
No. Okay.
in officially they don't. But sometimes we have a public letter or message by email by our management that recognize our teams or some employees
Okay.
for what they do. They, for example, I work in an advertisement agency, so they recognize them that they won some clients or for example like that. So
okay, all right. Yeah, I always thought that was a goofy concept anyway, kind of silly. Employee of the Month award. More often than not, it's more like a popularity contest. Who's the most popular employee of the month? Has nothing to do with any metrics or any usefulness to the company. Maybe I'm bitter because I never won one. Even though I deserved them. Okay, Javier, complaint L.
L, we need more management support.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think many times the management area or department, I don't know, get lazy or something, and could just leave alone the people, the other people.
I think this is frequently a very valid complaint or demand. Frequently, I think that happens. Maybe not because management is lazy. Maybe management gets distracted by a change in the company or a change in management, shifts things around, and some employees get lost without any true manager. These things happen sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Well, Heidi, what about M? Does this make any sense? Heidi?
Yeah.
How about N?
Oh,
M. As in monkey. We need less supervision. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Maybe each employee have had some opinion or ideas. They should take that idea. So they need to have meeting once or twice a month. They need to exchange their opinion.
Sure.
Not control the employee too much. They are not machines.
Oh, okay. You're saying, all right. Yeah, I always did. Sometimes I worked in companies that actively discouraged employees from meeting outside of the company, but we did anyway. How can they stop you? They can't, put you in jail. So yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, but I can't remember ever actually hearing this complaint before, really. Because if the company wants to be stupid and hires more management than the employees need, well, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Andre, how about N?
And our offices should be better equipped. It's hard to say because usually it's enough to have a computer and the phone and nothing else. But in some cases, for example, if company doesn't have printers or some equipment like copiers, Xerox, and something else, maybe it's reasonable enough.
Yeah. or maybe something like CRM, customer.
Yeah,
Some kind of
relationship management.
Yeah, customer relationship management system,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I think that can be a valid complaint that can make employees better if they don't have that equipment. So case by case basis, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked in restaurants. I was a chef, and there's tons of different kinds of equipment, But is all you need is a stove? Well, no, not necessarily. But on the other hand, you would have people going, I want the automatic tortilla rolling burrito, automatic burrito dispensing machine with cheese melter. Like, what the hell do you need that for? Get a grip on yourself. It's like $10,000 piece of equipment to make, one burrito a night. Are you crazy? Which we're going to make a profit of 50 cents on. Are you out of your mind? We don't need that equipment. Okay, so you have dreamers who think, oh, I want this state-of-the-art piece of equipment. Sometimes it's unreasonable. Javier?
We should receive incentive payments. Yeah, I think this is very often the complaint or this demand.
Javier, have you ever worked in a place that had incentive payments and incentive bonuses? Really, I should say bonuses.
Yeah, they have bonuses.
Yeah. Did you ever work in a place that had attendance bonuses?
What bonuses? What kind?
Attendance bonuses.
I don't know what is that.
Well, for example, you're never out sick all year. So they give you
okay.
$100 bonus.
No, actually, the other company in front of my company that used to do that.
Okay. Your previous company used to do that. Yeah.
No, actually, the company in front of my company in the other street.
Oh, you actually mean in front?
Yeah. Because all the time we hear about this rumors about this company they paid I don't know 100 mod or some more if all the time you don't have any day late, for example.
Okay, right, exactly. That's also late. Being late or not being late, you can get incentive payments or bonuses for. All right. Heidi, how about P? Is this a valid complaint?
Maybe the Japanese system is much different from Europe or American. And big companies, they want to employ the newcomers, a new graduate from the university. Japanese third year start April. Then even university the graduation ceremony is March. Then after that, they started to work in the companies.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 months, they give the good training to the newcomers. It's Japanese system. They don't want to employ them some capable employed from other companies. They want to make their employees to meet their the company's atmosphere or
yeah. So it's your fault. I say it's your fault jokingly because that is the exact model they use in the Philippines. They must have gotten it from the Japanese. They love to hire virgin employees that never had a job before. The thinking is exactly what you just said. Right out of university. That way we can train them the way we want and they won't have any bad habits. That's the thinking.
Bad habit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thinking. I don't particularly agree with it. I kind of didn't like it because me being an older gentleman that I am, and I was in management, I feel like I'm taking care of a kindergarten class. All these having 12 people under me that had never had a job before. Sure, they do a good job with the training, but these people don't have a clue what working is or the realities of a working environment. I much prefer to have a mix of older, younger people, men, women.
Yeah, then in
Definitely.
Japanese system, if you quit the company, then next, if you want to get some job, it's very difficult. If you have a special ability, maybe it's easy, but normal employees, it's very difficult to get another job.
Ah, really?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that also depends on how the economy is, of course, anywhere. A booming economy, they're going to hire you because they have to have employees. But when the economy slows down, then yeah, it's going to be difficult. All right, we've got only like 5 more minutes, so I want to do a little work with phrasal verbs that may have something to do with today's topic. For example, round the clock, all day and all night. 24 hours, we can also say. 24/7, that means 24 hours, 7 days a week. All right, some of these are phrasal verbs, some of them are idioms, actually. Andre, number 2. What is...
Get hot under the collar. It's interesting. I don't know. Maybe become angry about something.
That's it. All right. Don't get hot under the collar, Andre. Like that. Oh, the boss got hot under the collar when I made my demands in the meeting. Yeah, exactly. All right. Javier, number 3.
Pick it down. I'm not sure. I think could be.
Okay. In relation to work.
Then continue then work.
This would be like specifically your boss is picking on you.
Well, then maybe A.
Exactly.
Secondly, and unfairly to do something unpleasant.
That's right. If I'm picking on you, Javier, I might say, who cut your hair, Javier? Your mom? Did she put a bowl on your head? Your mom dresses you funny, Javier. Okay, I'm picking on you now. All right?
Okay.
All right. So, okay, it means being kind of abusive. Now, Americans pick on each other at work all the time, employees to employees. And it's all very, just part of being friends, being friendly. There's nothing mean or negative about it at all. It actually means you trust the people because you can pick on each other without getting mad. But it can also be used negatively, like your boss picks on you, keeps asking you to do something. Heidi, how about number 4?
Put their money where their mouth is, watching everything that someone does.
No.
No, because it is watching, I thought.
No.
Is ignored.
Now the answer is actually G.
Oh, gee.
You want your boss to put his money where his mouth is. Spend some money to show that you actually believe in something. All right? Okay. You say you want to pay top dollar to the top salesman, then pay me more. Prove it. You say you want to help production, then buy us the piece of equipment that we need. Put your money where your mouth is. Spend money if you actually, to prove what you're saying, like that. Okay, Andre, if you're passed over.
Passed over, I guess it's ignored.
Yeah, especially for a promotion. Passed over for promotion is very common. Okay, Javier?
Breathing down my neck.
Okay, the boss has been breathing down my neck all day.
Watching everything someone does.
Yeah, that's it. Very common phrase, actually. Stop breathing down my neck. I'll get it done when it's done. Okay. Heidi, get on with something.
Continue doing work.
That's it. Get on with it. All right, continue. And last one, Andre. Something is up to scratch.
Up to scratch is of an acceptable standard.
Yep. Very good. This product is up to scratch. It passes quality control. Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Very nice. Nice
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you,
Nice
teacher.
class. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.